Hey, this is Karila with Metal Life Magazine. Here I am once again at the Whiskey A Go-Go with Oli from Kataklysm. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
How are you feeling right now? I know it's been a really crazy day.
We were in Las Vegas yesterday, so my singer Maurizio won a lot of money, so everybody was happy.
What?
Yeah. He got
Really?
Yeah, $2,000-3,000 on the slot machines. So everybody's happy about it.
What else did you do in Vegas? It looked like a good time.
No, the guys partied a bit, drank a bit.
You kind of seem like you're the only one today who's not hungover too. So I'm either you can hold your liquor or you're a designated driver.
No. I cannot keep up with my guys. They're just partying almost every night. Me, I usually go to bed. I usually go to bed. Yesterday was an exception because we had a late bus call, so I stayed late a bit, like 3. It's not my guys. They usually drink a bit every day. Yeah, to have my mind clear for the shows, so I cannot.
Right. So you're not the kind of guy who's like, because I know there are some people who have to like loosen up with a beer and then go out.
I would loosen up if I would play blues or stuff like this, but this is not the style, This style of music needs to be like 100% accuracy. So, especially on drums, you're the maestro. You're the one. Everybody's following what I'm doing. So.
You mentioned you've done clinics and you're an instructor and things like that. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Well,
you're having students and all that.
Yeah. I've done clinics. I've done teaching for many years. What I'm bringing in the band, I think, is a touch of trying to bring from different styles to this style was a bit heavy metal, is a bit squarish. Not a lot of dynamics. It's always like all out stuff like that. So that's why I'm trying to bring the band, especially on the next album we're working on right now, trying to bring a bit more finesse. And we can already see in the new songs, it's another thing that the band is really now to another level.
Right.
And we have really big hits coming. Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by the fact that you brought up blues, and this wasn't even something I had thought of. But who inspires you? Who's not in the metal genre? Because you're right. This Waiting for the End to Come had grooves that Kataklysm hasn't seen in quite a while, and I think you definitely have something to do with that.
Yeah, I started doing this kind of stuff with the previous bands I've worked with. Bringing some Latin stuff, some blues, even some funk stuff. On the drums. But on this new album, the point was to push the band to a new level, to prove the band is still at its prime. And it's a bit the last album was a bit more technical, I would say. Waiting for them to come, we push tempos higher, and it's a challenge, sometimes to play the songs live. That's why I'm not drinking before shows, because it's pretty hard stuff, like the song like Fire and If I Was God I'd Burn It. All these songs are pretty high paced.
I love Fire. That one just has such an intense groove to it. I love it.
Yeah. That's the thing about this band. It's not about technical skills. It's always been about good songs and good grooves. And my background, like I told you previously before the interviews, is rock and roll, funk stuff like that, like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. So that's why the next record is going to be probably a bit less technical. Okay. Probably a little bit less, a bit slower in tempos, but much more badass.
Much more intense, so you can focus on other things besides the fact that it's going super fast.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because now that I'm finding this out about you, I understand why you're wearing a Perfect Circle shirt. It makes sense because the first song I always think of when you hear Perfect Circle is Counting Bodies Like Sheep. Yeah. And that song is so intense but so simple, and I could totally see you bringing some intensity like the stuff that makes Perfect Circle bands like Nine Inch Nails so good.
But it's not only about me, JF and Steph. Maurizio has usually the visions, like in the song, what he wants to hear, what makes a song a hit, and JF and Steph bring the riffs and the melodies, and they're not based on technical riffings. They're really based on the feel and the general idea of the song, and the grooves especially. So
there are a lot of good players out there. There are a lot of people who can play guitar. There are a lot of people who can play drums and bass. But what's missing is arrangement and songwriting, things that really have meaning and things that will carry on. Why do you think it's a little harder to find that authenticity now?
Well, first thing is, virtuosity and the skill, you can get that pretty young. Think about guitar players like Yngwie Malmsteen, the guy has been shredding since he's been 17, but at the same time he's been playing the same about writing a song like 2-3 weeks, and then another song comes in like 5 minutes. You know, like in the new album, there's one is gonna be the single. I cannot talk much about that now, but the new single I expect to be, you know, this song has been written pretty quick, and it's weird because it's so sticky, you know, but it wasn't prepared, wasn't, you know, planned. It just came out like that, you know.
At least for me, I know it's hard to relate to people who just put out solo stuff because it's like, I don't know, I want to feel more. I don't want to just be emphasized. There's only so much that one instrument can carry a meaning and an interpretation to you.
Yeah, the weird thing about these solo projects and stuff is like, you're wondering, is it for musicians or is it for, you know, the average listener, you know, because sometimes when it's just for musicians, and I mean, it's not a lot of people, right? So
right.
The song, the band Kataklysm has always been writing not for musicians, like some crazy bands from Montreal, even the bands I was playing with before, like Neuraxis. This guy's super technical, so I mean...
Well, Belfagor too, you did live sessions with them,
yeah,
didn't you?
a little bit of session, but the main thing, you know, this band is for musicians, like nerds of, you know, death metal nerds, like...
Especially.
But it's understandable, but there's so much content in the songs. I was listening to that the other day just to refresh my memory. I was like, what the hell? It's like, it's so dense, you know?
Yeah.
The brain is like freaking out, you know? It's a totally different thing with Kataklysm. It's really more, you know, down to earth and simple and effective formulas. That's the point.
I'm sure you get asked about what metal albums really influenced you, but as far as blues artists go, and as far as blues, I mean, if you name an album or artist, what influences you the most? Is it modern blues? Is it all the way back to like Delta? Like, are we talking like Mississippi Delta? Like, what kind of blues influences you?
I really don't know that much about blues because there's so many artists out there. But the album I've listened most, I would say, is Eric Clapton, From the Cradle.
Okay.
And this one is, I really feel there's a really cool vibe to it.
Okay.
Like super ballsy, and the guy you can tell he's like so fucked up, you know, drunk, and he's screaming his heart out, and that's what makes it so good. And you know, listening to the playing of, you know, just the drums in there, the guy is not doing fancy stuff, but I'm telling you, there's not many metal drummers out there who could try to play like this, because it's totally a different thing, you know. A lot of feeling, a lot of precision and finesse and dynamics and following. In metal music, it's more like, you know, all out all the time, you know. It's like athletic, you know, like.
Yeah, very much
athletes,
so.
you know, that's also why I work out all the time, to keep up with all this, you know. Because otherwise, you finish tours and you get tendonitis and stuff like that. Many guys just stop their careers because of that. And you know, with time, with years, it piles up, and these guys doing windmills every day, you know, they have problems with the spine and everything. So
what do you do to prevent that? Because I'm sure you play drums, I mean, 24/7, really. I mean, between teaching and performing and touring, like, how do you...
Well, you know, this band, it's not an easy style of music, obviously.
Right.
But when you keep a steady diet, training regimen, I do a lot of weights and cardio stuff to keep up, and it really makes a big difference.
Right.
In the way, even in shows, you know, like I used to start these set lists, you know, the first headliner I did with Kataklysm was an hour and a half the set, and it doesn't look like much, but when you're used to 45 minutes set and you jump to this, you know, the last 30 minutes you're really like, holy shit, you can really feel it. But with time, you know, you push your training, and then your cardio gets better, and yeah, it becomes easier, obviously.
Right. Who is your favorite live band to watch?
Oh shit.
It's a big one, I know.
I may sound a bit stupid, but you know, probably the first big show I've seen and it's still up there is Iron Maiden. They're crazy.
Oh, that's not stupid. They're so good.
They're insane, you know, Bruce Dickinson, and it's also a good teaching experience. You see this guy, you know, running like a maniac on stage, and the guy's almost 60 or something. So
yeah,
it's
God.
Yeah.
The last question I have for you is, I know that there's been talk about how amazing your show was in South Africa, and I've got to say, the photos from South Africa were some of the most phenomenal band photos I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah?
It just looked like the crowd was just all over you, and you guys were all over the crowd. And I heard there's also talk of a live album, so tell me about your experience in South Africa and how it was different from, I mean, you guys love Europe, it's been a great crowd, but how how is it different? Like, what made that experience so much more amazing than anything you've done?
Well, I would say the first thing is this place is kind of it was a closed circuit. There was a band that played there like 10 years ago from promoter invited bands like At the Gates, I think, and Sepultura, the old lineup came there. So once we got there, you know, that's where also they shot the movie District 9 and stuff.
Yeah.
We were like, what the fuck, you know?
You were like, oh, I saw District 9, I don't want to go there.
Exactly, and then they were making fun, but, you know, but when you see out of the airport in Johannesburg, you're like, you see the slums and you're like, okay, and you hear the rumors about, you know, killings in the street and, you know, HIV and stuff like that.
And alien prawns.
Yeah, and the prawns, exactly. No, for real, it's true. So then we were like, okay, man, but you know, when you land, town is actually one of the nicest places in the world. It's kind of like Cape Town looks a bit more like LA, and Johannesburg is more like, I would say, New York, something like that. But
okay.
Yeah, so we started going to Cape Town, and the show was pretty good, but the show at Johannesburg was insane. That's most of the pictures you saw.
Right.
And there were people coming from Botswana, which is like a state nearby. All these dudes coming, and they're so intense because they haven't seen shows for I don't know how many years. So they were just all over after the show. Because you know, the further you go, the more crazy people get. You know, like when you play in Colombia, people are just nuts after the show. It's like you're the Beatles in the 60s, you know. And then you play shows in the US and they're like, oh well, it was pretty good, you know. So it's then there's this new festival they came up with, Witch Fest,
right.
Which is going to be another huge festival with again, we're coming back, Kataklysm.
It's a South Africa festival?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, near Johannesburg, and they booked it in like a national reserve or some stuff like this.
Oh my god.
So there's going to be like zebras and stuff around.
That's awesome.
Yes, and the promoter are super cool. So yeah, it's something else. It's really something else.
Just 5 years ago, there were bands who were like, yeah, we really hope to play South Africa, but we have no idea what's in store for us. And now there's going to be a festival? That's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, bands nowadays, you know, the music industry it's not easy for bands. So bands want to expand and go places that haven't been explored really. So Asia is opening up a lot, you know, like places like Costa Rica, we went, and South Africa. So it's really cool, you know, it's cool for bands because it's places they couldn't even dream of going, you know, because just the flights going there, it's insane, you know? The time also it took it's crazy, but once you're there, like, wow, okay.
Got so much support, so much love.
Yeah. Next time we're gonna do a safari and stuff, you know, with the... after the show, I think. We're staying there a week, so it's gonna be cool, yeah.
Well, we're definitely not Johannesburg, but we're definitely excited here to see your show, and thank you so much for talking to us here on Metal Life, and I really appreciate your time. Can't wait for the show.